back to another episode of Grit inside Manhattan Beach Studios. I'm Victoria Dennis, and joining me today is professional beach volleyball athlete on the AVP and World Tour and mental health therapist, and most importantly, a bridesmaid in my wedding this summer, Kamila Tan.
Hi.
Welcome to Grit.
Thank you so much for having me on Grit. I'm so excited to finally be here. We've been talking about this for so long.
I know. Now we're here.
Yeah.
We were like trying to hang out for like the last month, and I was like, why don't you just like come on the show and then we can hang out and then you're finally on the show. Like 2-for-1 deal.
Best of both worlds.
You know,
we got to make it happen
yeah.
somehow, some way.
Somehow. We'll
we
bring
both
the
just
wine
work really
next time.
hard.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wait, okay, I'm so excited. So on the show today, we're going to be talking about your journey, and you're very open about what that looks like for you and what it has been for you. And you played at UCLA. You are now a therapist, and you're one of the very few in the nation that actually work with children who have eating disorders. And so
adults.
And adults, yes. But there's not a lot of people that work in the youth space of that field. So we'll be touching on that. We'll be touching on what it's like to be a professional beach volleyball athlete in the year of 2026 and how they all tie together. So First things first, your journey started before UCLA, but we're gonna start at UCLA.
Yeah, we can start at UCLA. The eating disorder piece of my life has been a significant one for sure. Before UCLA, it just started as I would emotionally eat a little bit when I was younger in high school, kind of like bingey type eating, and then a lot of body image distress associated with like when I would binge, and then obviously like in comparison to other athletes that were around me, and especially as it relates to like sport, right? Because you're always scrutinized for your body. And then when I went to UCLA, that just got like really magnified. And I always like describe an eating disorder to somebody who just like doesn't know what it is as like a perfect storm of factors in your personal life, in your environmental space, and also within your own mental health and what's happening for you internally. A perfect storm that kind of creates a set of factors that causes you to behave in a certain way. So for me, like, I thought that I would feel better about myself and that I would be loved and accepted if my body looked different. And it started out as this innocent attempt to really fuel better as an athlete, right? Like fuel better and feel better. I wanted to, change the way that I was eating in order to perform my best. And then it turned into like, oh, let me just like cut out sugar and see how I feel. Oh, like let me cut carbs and see how I feel. Oh, like weird. I'm starting to get so many compliments from people about how my body is changing, and then like start tracking calories, and before you know it, then I'm like restricting pretty heavily. The weight loss became significant, and I was getting compliments left and right from like teammates, coaches, boys, and I thought I was doing things right, because obviously when you're getting all this like praise from outside sources, you think that you're more well loved or like that you're excelling at something, and it became so deep that I just really didn't want to change it. So I struggled with anorexia for 4.5 years. I lost my period. I struggled with it for like 5 years, lost my period for 4.5 years, and experienced bone density loss because of how I lost my period. And eventually, after I graduated from UCLA, I had a big relapse because of what we were talking about earlier, the whole like identity crisis following graduation from a D1 level sport, and you're kind of like left with, who am I after I graduate? And like, where do I fit? Because I don't have a team and I don't have structure anymore. And what do I want to do with my career? How do I even fund beach volleyball after I after I graduate, if I wanted to go pro, like all of these questions were swimming in my head with like no answers. And I relapsed and then eventually had to be hospitalized for my eating disorder. Went through 6 months of pretty intense treatment for the eating disorder, took a break from volleyball, and then like thankfully have been fully recovered ever since. But it's been like a lot of, even though I never relapsed back into behaviors, I've had to continue to battle the thought patterns that lived within me really strongly when I was like struggling with eating disorder behaviors. So that was a lot, and I'll just like let you follow up with any questions or thoughts because I could expand on any one of those things, but I don't want to like talk for 25 minutes.
No, that's why we're here. Camila's like, welcome to my show.
Welcome to Grit. This is my show now.
Yes. Take it away, girlfriend. Well, no, I just have to say, like, before we go any further, like, I'm so proud of you of, like, how far you've come. Because, like, we've been best friends since we were 20. We met on the USA high performance beach volleyball team, the U23 team. And, like, I've known you through all this because we met when we were 20 and now we're 31. And so, you know, it's been a journey. And, like, I just have to say I'm so proud of you. Of like how far you've come, and like now you're a professional in the field and you got your masters, and it's just like
two masters.
What? 2 masters. Talk to us about your masters. I wanted to bring that up next in the like storm of what was life for you in your 20s, in your mid-20s. You're now in your mid-20s. You're getting 2 masters. What are those masters, and why did you get them?
Well, the first master's, it was interesting. Like, I chose to do a master's in public health following graduation. My degree was in psychology, and I also had a minor in education. So I knew that I wanted to do something in the realm of service, in the realm of helping people heal in some sort of way. But I didn't know yet at that time that I wanted to be a therapist. And I kind of had this, like, stigma about, being a mental health therapist or a mental health provider is not like a stable career. I don't know if I had like heard that from my family or heard that from like other sources, but I was guided to believe that a master's in public health, which eventually meant like public policy and corporate healthcare, was the career path that would guide me into, would be a very stable career. And that is true. Like, it is a very stable career, and going into corporate healthcare would be a very smart career move monetarily, but it wasn't the right fit for me. And when I went through that master's program, that was like another perfect cocktail of me kind of feeling lost, because I was in the program and just being like, I don't want to like crunch hospital numbers and like work on policies. Like, I'm much more lit up actually talking to people about what's like hurting their heart and helping them like move through that and feel better. And but I just like didn't know that about myself at the time. And so it was like one avenue where I was like, okay, I can really help people in this avenue, but I also couldn't see how that would blend with competing in professional beach volleyball. Like, I can't work a 9-to-5 in corporate healthcare and play professional beach volleyball at the same time. Like, it's actually impossible. And so like I just felt so lost with like my decision-making process, and like the reasons why I chose to go into that program kind of felt misguided, not to anyone's fault, but it's just like I didn't quite understand what I was getting myself into. And I just thought I had to have a next step after graduation, and this seemed like an easy next step. I got like a few postgraduate scholarships from UCLA, which was really cool. Like, one was from the NCAA, one was from the Pac-12. And so like that master's was almost completely funded, because I was like, oh my gosh, I have all this money to put towards grad school. I might as well just like continue school. But what I really should have done was like sit down and actually try to figure out, what do I want to do with my life and my career, and like think about it a little bit longer, maybe like try a few jobs. But anyways, it ended up being how it was, and then I relapsed while I was in the program. But then when I came back from treatment and re-entered the program, I ended up writing my consulting report, which is like a big research report on eating disorders in athletics. And it's like a thesis, like the equivalent to a thesis or a dissertation for other master's programs. And I got commended for it in the program, and I won a fellowship in the program too for writing a 10-page poem about my eating disorder, which was also kind of crazy. So there was like a lot of good meaning that came out of it. And then a couple years later, I decided to go pursue a master's in social work, to go become a therapist. And that was at the same time that my brother was battling brain cancer and also passed away. So that was also a super gnarly time. And like an entirely different chapter than the eating disorder. But it's just like crazy to think about how even after moving through deadly anorexia and then like moving through the grief of losing my brother, getting 2 master's programs, that I am like now competing on the world tour.
Yeah.
It just feels like I've lived like 5 lifetimes.
Totally.
In the past 10 years. So,
totally. When did you make the choice to keep going? When did you make the choice to say, okay, I'm going to get better, and I know I need to get better, and this is what it needs to look like?
There were several choice points. When I was in graduate school doing my master's in public health, I got scarily thin, and to the point where like a couple random people came up to me that like were kind of like outside my inner circle. And I just remember like one guy in the middle of campus coming up to me and being like, hey, like, you know, God loves you, right? And like, you're gonna be okay. And it's just like on my heart to tell you right now that you deserve to be happy and you deserve to be healthy and well. And I just kind of like left that interaction being like, whoa, that came out of nowhere. I had no idea who this person was, and I never saw him again. And then like a week later, Natasha Nelson, who's like in our beach volleyball community, we were at the Bikini Open, which is like a fours tournament in Hermosa, and she came up to me and said like, hey, are you okay? Like you know you deserve to be happy, right? And you deserve to be healthy and well. It was like same message, same words. And I was like, whoa, that was kind of crazy. And that was the first time I had ever met her. And then like a week later, Allie Wheeler's dad at the Manhattan Beach Open, I was just watching. Like just came and stood next to me at MBO, and I was watching Allie play. And Allie was somebody that I competed against. She went to USC while I was at UCLA, so I've like played her all the time, and our dads knew each other. And he came up to me and he's like, Kamila, you know that so many people love you, right? And that you deserve to be happy and healthy and well. And like it maybe wasn't those exact words from like all those different people, but for me it was like the exact same message, and I was like, I got to get better. I got it. Like it was like a synchronicity, and I felt like God was telling me like it was time. Yeah. It was time for me to go, and seek help and really like prioritize my life. And it was getting to the point where like in the middle of the night, because when you have anorexia, your heart slows down because your body is like trying to conserve energy. So your heart rate slows down, your organs stop functioning appropriately, like right before you're about to die. And I was like in the middle of the night, I would wake up and I would like my heart just felt like it was about to stop. Like it would just be like beating so slow. And like my breathing was so slow and I felt so weak. And that happened to me a couple times, and like a couple times after it happened, I just like, I called my mom. I was living up here in Hermosa at the time, and I called my mom, and she lives in San Diego, and I was like, let's like pack up tomorrow. I'm like ready to go into treatment. I'm like actually afraid I'm gonna die. And some of the symptoms I was experiencing at that time were like I would just get super dizzy, like my legs would feel really numb, like I felt like nauseous and like unable to eat food, and was talking to my grandpa like a couple weeks after I was hospitalized about like some of those symptoms, and he was like, yeah, you could have been experiencing the early signs of heart failure. And I like, when you're that sick with anorexia or like an eating disorder, you just don't realize that it's that bad until it's like bad. And I could have died. I was like playing beach volleyball. I was running around living like a very active life. Like, it feels like a miracle when I think about the state that I was in. It really does feel like a miracle that I am alive. And like, I'm so glad that those 3 people just like came up to me in the ways that they did and said what was on their heart, because like for some reason those interactions like helped me change my mind. And then there was another thing too, like within that same period of time, my brother Kaz actually like called me from San Diego, and he was like, Kamila, get your together. Like what the F are you doing? Mom and Dad are so worried about you. Like, you have to get better. And he kind of like yelled at me over the phone.
Like a brother does.
Yes. But that was like also his way of just being like, don't die. Like he's never been a kind, compassionate communicator, but he just like, that also kind of like snapped me out of it. And it wasn't anything that like he hadn't said before or my parents hadn't said before, but for some reason in that timing it like hit me. So yeah.
So now you're working in the field as a professional. So you
as a therapist,
yes. As a mental health therapist. What does your profession look like, and how are you able to give back in that way now as a therapist?
Right now I work in 2 different practices. So one of them is like an outpatient private practice. So I'm still an associate, so I have a supervisor who's supervising my clinical hours, but like all my patients are my own. And so in the private practice is where I primarily focus on eating disorders, and I love to use like a blend of clinical experience, evidence-based, like cognitive behavioral therapy, dialectical behavioral therapy, acceptance and commitment therapy, and like brain spotting and exposure therapy. Like, there's all these different modalities that I use to treat eating disorders, but I think like the rapport that you build with someone as a therapist is equally important, because you could like throw all those modalities at somebody, but if like they don't trust you,
what's the point?
Like the work just isn't as effective. So like I have a very personal approach to therapy in which like I actually want to form a relationship with someone, one that's like clinically appropriate and boundaried of course, but like but one in which we can like joke during session, and we can like try to make it fun, and like apply it to real life, and like kind of take the scariness out of the eating disorder, and then, you know, also like help them believe that full recovery is possible, because a lot of people like don't believe that they can fully recover because they just get in so deep, and then it's hard to believe that you could think or behave or feel any differently. But full recovery is possible, and that might look different for each person, but you know, like I don't experience the urge to restrict myself anymore, which feels incredibly freeing. I also like don't feel the need to tear down my body all the time. I still slip into like comparisons sometimes because I'm like surrounded by beautiful people.
Look who's talking.
um,
You're absolutely gorgeous.
as are you.
And you know, like the Lord made us all beautiful in our own way,
Yes.
and like in His creation and is
Yes.
and in His eye, and like to your point about
Yes.
like feeling those signs, like from the 3 different people that came up to you, like I truly feel like the Lord was working through like literal strangers
Yes.
to come up to you
Mm-hmm.
and speak that same message. Like I think random stuff happens, but I also think that like things happen for a reason.
Yes.
And you can definitely have both like realities, like, oh, it was just random. But there comes a point in time where it's like, oh, like, no, that definitely happened for a reason. And it didn't just happen once, it happened 3 times. And
Right.
so I think if you're open to like seeing the bigger picture in whatever scenario you're in and like being honest with yourself, which is the hardest thing for people to do. And you know, my grandma, Jan,
Yeah.
and she said always, and says at 93, always believe in yourself, always think for yourself, and always be honest with yourself. And I think being honest with yourself, like, is really difficult to do no matter like what the topic is. And I think it took you to be honest with yourself and to be open to like the universe and to like God's like love and like message to you to like go on this healing journey. And
Totally.
to tie it back to what we were just talking about before I got on my high horse. What were you talking about?
Let me think.
Oh, I'm the professional here. I was gonna tie it in, and it was gonna be really good, you guys. But I just got lost in your eyes. Oh yes, we were talking about.
We were talking about like what I do in my practice.
Rats.
Shoot.
It's fine. We're not even drinking wine.
No, just wait till we do.
I
It's
know.
gonna be epic.
Anywho's, it's like it all happens. Like the messaging was there,
Mm-hmm.
and it was
Oh,
a
you were
beautiful
asking
story.
me what made me change?
Right.
Yes. But I don't. How did that tie?
And tying into your practice because you're with your clients now.
Anyways, it's all
It's
meant
fine.
to work out the way it's supposed to.
Listen, I'm usually pretty good tying it from one thing to another. I got lost in your eyes.
I floored you.
I know.
I made you nervous.
Okay, it's true. Fine. Okay, tell me this. How do you approach working with youth in this field compared to adult clientele with mental health, specifically eating disorders?
Yeah. Well, when you're working with kids or adolescents or anyone who's under 18, the parents are always involved no matter what. So like eating disorders more often than not have a huge family dynamic component, you know, like the environmental system that you're in has a huge impact on how you think about yourself, how you orient yourself to others. And that's like, it's not to say that like families of kids who have eating disorders are bad. Like they're not. They're usually like incredibly loving and everybody like brings their all to the table, you know. But there's just like certain ways that we communicate with each other, or certain belief systems that are had that like need to be challenged, or need to be worked through, or like need to be healed as that person also heals. So I work with family systems a lot when I'm working with children and adolescents. And then with adults, there's like less of a family component. It's a much more individualized work because usually like people are on their own by then and are kind of like individuated from their family, but like their family dynamic still plays a role, but I'm not doing like family work, if that makes sense. I'd say that's like the biggest difference. And then obviously like a lot of people with eating disorders that come to my practice seek me out because of my athletic background, because a lot of eating disorders are present in athletic places. So those two things definitely have commonalities, right? Like athletic environments are one of those like perfect storm components where it's a high pressure situation, high achievers, some perfectionism involved, a lot of comparison because like we're comparing each other to like outperform each other. We can also find ourselves comparing our bodies to other people's bodies, and that's just like an unfortunate reality that it's in the environment that we're in. Yeah, so those are some of the trends I see and some of the differences between kids and adults.
If a parent sees their child and they know that something's off or something's wrong, and this might be a lingering thought in the back of a parent's mind, which is a hard pill to swallow because it's happening under your roof. But I think it takes like courage to have that conversation with your child. It's also like, it's your child. Like, you want the best for them.
Yeah.
If a parent sees this happening under their roof, what is the best way? How is the best way to approach this situation?
Yeah, it's a really good question. There's never one right or wrong answer. And I think approaching somebody who might be exhibiting disordered eating or eating disorder behaviors, like, we have to take the shame out of it, because it's always helping them with something. Like, eating disorders are a coping mechanism, and at a certain time in your life, they're also like a tool. Like, mine helped me fit in within the environment that I was in. Like, I felt loved and accepted and more supported in like this really weird way when my body was thinner. So it was like helping me feel better about myself and helping me feel better within the environment that I was in. So they do serve a purpose, and so we don't want to like further shame somebody for having those behaviors. Instead, I want to like seek to understand, like, why do you feel the need to do this? Why does it feel so important to you? Also, you're not wrong for doing this. Like, you're not a bad person. You're not broken, right? Like, I felt really broken because I didn't know how to stop. And I didn't know why it was necessary to change for such a long period of time. And I didn't know how to change, right? So I think also approaching somebody and saying, like, there's so many support resources available to you. And also, you're not the only one to have gone through this. Like, it's actually really common. But let's address it before it gets worse, because it can, like, eating disorders have the highest death rate of any mental illness behind opioid addiction, because they involve the body so heavily, like the way that we consume and metabolize food. Like, we have to have food to live, right? So I don't want to scare anyone, but like, but intervening faster is always better, right, for somebody's long-term health. So again, seeking to understand, offering compassion, comfort, and support. Like, I want to check in with you because I love you, because I want to help you, and taking the shame out of it, right? There's nothing wrong with you. You're not broken, but if you wanna compete, if you wanna be a high level athlete, you gotta fuel yourself well, and I don't think this is it. So let's find a way to do it better, and also, you're not gonna have to do it alone.
Mm-hmm. And the athletes, or maybe just not athletes, aren't having to do it alone. How long does it usually take for somebody to get back to feeling themselves as a healthy individual?
That's a tricky question.
I know it is, but you can handle it.
Well, it's not like, for somebody to heal, I can't give a timeline. That's like it's never an appropriate thing to do, because like like when a doctor operates on you for like knee surgery or something, and they'll be like, well, evidence says that like 9 months to a year you're gonna, like, for ACL repair.
Sure. Yeah.
But maybe it's 2 years for somebody. Maybe it's a year and 6 months. Maybe it's 6 months. Like, it's highly variable depending on the level of support that person has, depending on their willingness to change, depending on like how well their environment is set up to help them heal. And so like there is no one timeline, you know. Some people can struggle with eating disorders for many, many years. And some people, if it's like caught early, they're like, oh, this is a good thing to change. And then they heal pretty quickly and it doesn't come back, you know. So highly variable. But like for me, my timeline was, you know, I struggled with it for 5 years. But once I committed to recovering, it was like, I wasn't gonna like take no for an answer. I was like, I'm gonna do this right. I'm gonna recover well. I'm gonna be strong, and I have like a really bright future to look forward to. And that's like, I'm gonna stay fixated on that, and I ain't going backwards. Like, no.
Totally.
Yeah.
And that's a huge factor. Like, that's, for me, I feel like that's like 90% of the work is like you making the choice for yourself, because somebody's not going to make it for you. Like, it's literally your body, right? Yes. And it's like, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. And like the brain is like so powerful in that way. And it's like being able to just, maybe you crawl 2 feet one day and then you run 10 miles the next, right? It's like always trying to move forward. And like moving forward isn't always like drastic movement, right? Like some days it's going to be, like I said, taking 2 steps, and like growth looks different on different days, different weeks, different months. Like I think the social media realm, like it's a highlight reel and it's like a quick hit, right? So like social media has been cool for brand deals and all that fun stuff, but like it also it's a double-edged
too.
Connection. You know, grandma lives across the ocean, like, you know, but with everything, there's like the good and the bad. And I think like getting that quick hit on social media too, like, is kind of like toxic in the comparison realm. And
absolutely.
Like, what
Photoshop, by the way.
Photoshop, like everything you see in like Hollywood, like
it ain't real.
It's not real, guys. Like, I work there. Like, it's not real.
She knows.
How much of a correlation is social media a factor in the youth that come into your office?
Massive. But I want to say one more thing about what you said, because I think that this is just a really important point. Like, because you asked this about my choice point too. Like, at what point did I want to change? And I think like I wanted to change when I started to believe that I was more valuable. Like, to me, like my life was more valuable than what anybody else thought about me. Because I was like, the eating disorder was like this big facade that I was like putting out to the world, that I like had everything together and I was like so pretty because I was skinny, and like I just really wanted to be loved, and like I wanted everyone to love me, but like because I felt so bad about myself, because like my self-esteem was in the tank. But like once I decided that like who I am in my healthy body, with like I don't have to filter myself in order to be liked, like the right people for me are going to love me for who I am, which is like a kind, compassionate human being who's like a little bit quirky, but like
a little bit,
take it or leave it, you know. Maybe a lot of it. But I think like that's like one of the big messages that I always want to say to people is like, you don't have to dumb yourself down. You don't have to filter yourself. You don't have to shrink yourself in order to fit into, like, I was literally shrinking myself. You don't have to shrink yourself to like fit this mold of what you think everybody wants you to be. Like, no. No, like you are so loved and perfect exactly the way you are.
Also, everybody's healthy looks different.
Yes.
Like genetically, like
yes.
The science and biology behind it, it's like everybody's healthy looks different. Like if you saw my parents, you'd be like, yep, that makes sense. Like tall and gangly, like wonder where she got that from. And for me, it was like opposite, right? Like it was like, why are you so skinny? Why can't you gain weight? Like you're a D1 athlete. You're not strong enough. Like why aren't you're lifting? Why aren't you like we lift every day. Why aren't you getting stronger? Why aren't you stronger? And I'm like, I'm trying. Like my body like can't. I'm not built that way. Like I'm maxing out in the weight room every day And I mean, you've seen me eat over the last decade. It's like
She can eat.
and if I didn't, like I would literally pass out, right? Like that's just how my body was made, and that's how my like mom and dad were like when they were like athletes as well, like metabolism of a racehorse. And like I never felt like I was like, "Oh, I'm not good enough because I'm not as strong as the other girls." Even though I'm trying. It's just like not my body type.
Right.
But that didn't mean I wasn't performing at my job as a student athlete.
Right.
So it's like everybody has like their thing, right? It just like looks different. And then like being able to take a step back and be like, I'm never going to look like X, Y, and Z because I'm just biologically not built like that. But I can still perform and probably beat them on the court, like because my skill set just looks different, and that's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. The acceptance of being different and also like being unconventional sometimes. Like I never felt like, weirdly enough, I never felt like I fit into the sport of beach volleyball because like all I saw were like blonde, skinny women, at least like in the space that UCLA was at the time. Like that's like what most of my team looked like. And then kind of like what I saw the image of a beach volleyball person to be in like the media, right? Like you think Carrie Walsh, right? Like that's like the typical, that's like the standard, right? But it's not true. Like, and I love how the sport has evolved because there's so much more diversity now, especially in like the collegiate space, you know, like all kinds of bodies are getting recruited now. And it's different. Like it looks different from what I remember it to be when we were in college. Yeah. And so I'm grateful for the cultural shifts that I'm seeing for sure, because you're right. Everybody is built super differently. Our genetic and biological makeups are not the same, and we shouldn't be. Nope. And therefore our style of play is going to be different, and our strategies are going to be different. Our walks of life are going to be different, and like how fun is that?
So fun. Like it would be so boring if we were all the same. Like
yeah,
no, nobody wants
Imagine if we looked exactly alike.
That's like you might as well paint the world gray.
We might like each other more.
Not possible. Not possible. Okay, looping back to social media playing an influence.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
So how have you seen that in your office of social media playing an influence in the youth that come into your office for eating disorders?
For eating disorders, and honestly for anything else, like almost anything else, especially like neurodivergence, ADHD, and autism. Like that neurodivergent spectrum is a lot more well known now, and like a lot more people are getting diagnosed with that, especially in like the COVID era. Like the COVID kids, they're so like they fit that neurodivergent profile, and I think it's because of how much they've gotten that like that hit from social media, and so like they live the world in their phone. Like the phone is their world, and their phone impacts how they relate to their world. With eating disorders, like, oh my God, I can't even remember like how many like fitness influencers I followed. Not that there's anything wrong with fitness influencers, but just like people.
Hey, we gotta make our money some way, girl.
You know.
Hey, to each their own.
I respect the hustle.
Yeah. Somebody's gotta do it.
Mm-hmm. At the same time, like, I don't need to see photos of your abs all day and then like feel bad about my lack of abs. Like it was exhausting. Yeah. You know, like watching somebody's genetic like maybe they have like genetically a six-pack. I like never will. I just never will. And it's not a bad thing, but like I was constantly comparing myself to that. Or like how, like what kind of recipes can I follow in order to like lose weight, and all these like diet culture products or whatever. Like I fell for those traps so much, and there's way more of that out there now on social media than there was when I was in college, you know. That's why I love people like Alona Maher, 'cause she like kind of makes fun of it. Like she makes fun of the poses and like the things that people do.
Who is that for people who don't know?
Oh, rugby Olympia. She went to the Olympics, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. She's like one of the top rugby players in the world, represents the US.
She's amazing.
Super strong female athlete and just loves her body for exactly the way it is.
Yeah.
I'm sure that you could give like a full profile on all of her accomplishments.
Dancing with the Stars?
Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Team USA rugby went to Paris, would make like funny videos like in the Olympic Village being like, I'm here, where is my husband? Like, don't you want all this? Like, she's just like fabulous and like so amazing. And I'm the biggest fan, and she like crushed it on Dancing with the Stars. I digress.
Well, she just like is who she is, and she's unapologetic about it, and she doesn't fit any of like the typical societal standards, and she doesn't care. And that's what I love about her.
Love it. Full DGAF mode, like fully like just, it's like fun to see people like just be themselves. Like, why are you trying to be somebody else? You know, like that's already taken. Like there's nobody like you. And like, that's so true. Even in identical twins, like they're different, right? Yes. Like, and just like, I think people need to like lean into that more. And like, she's a great example of that, is that full DGAF mode. If you don't like me, great. I don't need you to like me. Like, because I like myself. Yeah. And I have 3 people that do. So great. Yeah. Maybe 4.
I also just wish that like, I wish that our communities were more kind sometimes, because like if we were all just more accepting of, and this is a problem that I see actually with eating disorders and adolescents, they so badly want to fit in, they so badly want to be loved, they so badly want to have friends. They like, without community, humans by nature are communal, right? Like we are meant to be in community, we're meant to see each other, we're meant to hug each other, we're meant to cry together, we're meant to like go through hard shit together. And like when people are excluded, when people are not accepted, which like I was bullied. I felt excluded a lot when I was at UCLA and in high school for like various reasons.
Same.
Yes.
Totally. We all go through it.
Yeah. And that was like a big part of why I had an eating disorder, because like I felt like, okay, if I change the way I look, people are going to like me more. Like, how much does that suck? Yeah. How much does that suck? And like, if our communities can talk about mental health more, if our communities can be more accepting, if we can talk about the hard stuff with each other and be more understanding of each other too, maybe like eating disorders won't be as prevalent, because we're just kinder to each other
and we're not as isolated.
Yeah.
Like I was, of course, on Instagram and saw this interview of a woman probably in her 70s and just walking through the park. And it's a guy that interviews strangers on the street. And he was talking about like O'Malley's pub down the street. And he was like, oh, do you have memories there? And she was like, oh, do I? Like every day after work, like we would have the community and we would all go in there together. And like whether you had a great day or you're crying, like we were together and we were doing it, and like you could like release that, and like the next day was a new day. Like we were able to like have that community and just like have face-to-face time. And if you had to like bitch about your day to a stranger or one of the like 30 people that are in there every day to just like grab a beer and then go home, like that was the community. And I think COVID and social media like both like double whammy on the like lack of sense of community.
Yes.
And I think like we're starting to kind of see like the page turn of like Gen Z's trying, because Gen Z is the first generation that doesn't know a world without like smartphones, which is wild. And like those are the kids that I coach 2 teams, and it's just like, you know, a little bit like we're learning skills here, like eye contact and stuff like that, and not immediate results. But there is like an itch for people to like have that like disconnection from social media or like smartphone technology and like more connection with everyday people. And hopefully like these restaurants are popping up. They're called like no screen restaurants, and you have to
Love
lock
it.
your phone in like a locker in order to be seated at your table. And they're like trending and popping up places, and I just don't think that's like happening by a coincidence. Like I think people like really are like yearning for that sense of community.
Yeah.
Whether it's like a dodgeball team or like kickball or you like join a book club, like
Yeah.
I think it's important.
You get lost in someone's eyes on a podcast.
Oh my gosh, yes. Of
I'm
course.
dead.
We're gonna have to watch that back, folks, and see where I was going with that.
No, but I mean, it's a great point. Like we need that face-to-face connection, and it does neurobiologically change us when we're with other people and when we're in community, and like being on a phone is not the same. I'm sorry, but it's not.
No.
Yeah.
We'll have our sense of community at my bachelorette party here in a couple months.
There's going to be a lot of community happening there.
Okay, before we wrap up, we have like 5 minutes left.
Okay.
Talk to me about getting back into pro beach volleyball and what that looks like at your healthiest now.
I'm
so proud of you.
Thank you so much. I've never been happier in my life than traveling the world and playing volleyball. It feels like my heart is gonna explode. Oh, I love you.
I love you too.
Talking about it, it's been a dream of mine for ever since I stepped on the court. I just remember within the first month that I was playing the sport, wow, nothing lights me up like this. Nothing feels this good to be my toes in the sand, right next to the water, with one other person that I'm just gelling with, and it's inspiring and it's fun and it's challenging, and I have to figure out this jigsaw puzzle to beat the other team. And when I went through my eating disorder and the death of my brother, and this period of 8 years really where I just felt like I had that taken away from me, and it wasn't even possible for me to even pursue that dream. It was so painful for me, and now that I get to do it, it just it feels like my world has opened, and I'm grateful for everything that I went through because it has made me a badass warrior for life. I know that I can get through anything, but to be able to step on the court and experience the joy of being healthy and feel grateful for my partner and all the effort that she's putting in, and feel grateful for my coach and all the effort that she's putting in, and be able to celebrate my body and all the strength and resilience that it holds. I just I never want it to end, and I am so excited to keep going and seeing how far I can go with the sport. Yeah.
I'm so proud of you. Hand hug.
All the hand hugs.
Yay. I do have to say this is the happiest and healthiest I genuinely have ever seen you, and we've been best friends for over a decade now, and I'm just so proud of how far you've come. And I've never cried on the show. I don't think. Maybe one time I got teary-eyed. We're not even drinking wine.
We broke her.
Rats.
Yay.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
And strong, happy, healthy, and helping others. Your job is to just help people. That's so cool.
Dream job. I get to help people.
Yeah. I love you.
I love you too.
Thanks for coming on my show.
Thanks for having me.
Yes.
Yay.
Anything else in the top of your mind that you want to share before we leave?
I just got a little shameless plug. If anyone wants to do therapy with me, Are you gonna like post my
Yeah.
contact information?
Yeah.
Yeah, like find me, call me, beat me. And then
Well,
also,
say your handle and stuff for them to find you.
yeah, Instagram handle is Kamillionaire if you want like volleyball content. Therapy with Kamila is my like therapy oriented Instagram.
With a K.
Yes, Kamila. And then I'm also looking for athletic sponsors because the dream is expensive. I have to work a lot in order to even like be able to travel. And so if anyone out there with, you know, mental health initiatives or anyone just like wants to partner with me, I'd love to elevate your brand and also just like align with you know, with similar passions, and I would love to help keep the dream alive. So
Keep it alive, baby girl.
Yeah.
You are.
Yes.
Rooting for you all the way.
Thanks.
Thank you. Love you.
Thank you. Love you.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Grit. Please make sure to like and subscribe. It really helps my content get to the top to bring on amazingly beautiful people like Kamila today. So thanks again, guys. Make sure to like, subscribe, keep it gritty out there.
Keep it gritty. Love that.
Boom, boom, make that